Hello, thank you for calling. Thank Jeez, I keep doing that. Oh man, I've spent over 16 years in the tech support help desk industry, and when you're working help desk all those years, it's second nature to greet everyone as though you're answering the phone. And what I meant to say is, welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host Wyman. I'm gonna try something a little different today. I'm going to let's see here. Oh man, I didn't think about it being upside down. I was gonna. I originally planned to have my drawing pad another 6 or 8 inches higher than it is now, so that it was on my lap. But as it turns out, my webcam, the way I have it positioned, it has a lot of trouble focusing. So it kept going zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. So it would be blurry one moment, then clear the next. Blurry the moment, and then clear the next. So what I'm going to try is to do it here, since it seems to be positioned stable, and it also doesn't look like it's going to be let me see. It looks like it's focused, and it looks a little grainy, but I think that's because I maxed out at 640 by 480 in display resolution on my webcam. So, but still not bad considering I bought this maybe over 10 years ago, and it's still working for me. So let's see here. The idea I had is more or less like truth bombs, or my attempt at explaining some of the stupidity in movies and how things came to be. So today we're going to look at Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and how maybe I'll just draw right side up, which is what I'm used to and comfortable with, and then I'll turn it upside down. So if it ends up looking upside down, I guess it will be upside down, won't it? So let's go. Yep, upside down. Wow. Well, for now, I'll just go with it. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. How did Emperor Palpatine Sir excuse me, sorry. This almost seems like it would be more suited for a stream. I don't know. I'm just kind of experimenting, trying different things. Especially since I'm still a small channel. Very small channel. Thank you to all my 18 subscribers on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. I'm at about 301 Twitter followers. So we're moving on up to the skyline, to deluxe Death Star in the sky. Alright, so Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. How did Emperor Palpatine survive? Thereby destroying Anakin Skywalker's sacrifice. Alright, so this is like I guess you might classify it as a fan theory. And oh, and just so you know, I am not a fan of Disney Star Wars, as you might have gathered. All right, so here's the idea. So, as we know, let's see how. As we know, this is supposed to represent Death Star number 2. All right, so that's Death Star number 2 from Return of the Jedi. And then, as we know, that was protected by the force field from the moon of Endor. Now, the thing is, we all know that in, let's see here. All right, so how do we do this? Forgive me, I'm out of practice here. So we all know from the end of Return of the Jedi, Vader tossed Emperor Palpatine and all the electricity he was spouting out down this huge big old pit or so from below Palpatine looks like a little rag doll, I guess. And of course he's spouting all his lightning, force lightning. Alright, so this is overhead view of Vader. Alright, so he went down, and here's what seems to make the most sense. I mean, Rise of Skywalker, believe it or not, I don't think it even really gave you a clear explanation as to what happened or how he survived. I think there was some talk about cloning technology and stuff, and Palpatine having created Snoke, and there were even some tubes of other Snoke attempts that were made or that were still being grown. But I don't know if that's what they were originally settling on as the reason. I never got a clear idea as to what the heck their explanation was to how Palpatine survived, actually. But it seems to me that he legit should have died when Vader threw him down that shaft. When the Emperor effectively got shafted. Shaft. But Rise of Skywalker was just a hot mess. So we never really got any clear indication as to what the heck was going on. But anyway, so Vader pitched Emperor Palpatine over the edge. And then after he went way, way, way down, there was this big old flash of light. So perhaps what happened, let's see, I'm not sure how to draw this here. So let's say this is the railing that Vader was in. And then so this is Vader having pitched the Emperor. And then imagine the big old pit. We know it's huge. This is just to shortcut the length or height of the pit or whatever, that the shaft that he was thrown down. And then so the Emperor falls down. Whee! That's lightning, obviously. Maybe I should use highlighter pens and just help differentiate this stuff. Anyway, so he falls down, and then after a certain point, remember these are shortcut lines, just to say, it starts here, and then a distance at least several meters down, we're continuing and we see where the Emperor is in this fallen stage. So the Emperor uses his Force Lightning, or uses the Force, flips a little switch, like a light switch, on the side. Clunk. On the side of the shaft. And then there are like special effects ports that shoot what looks like a blast of smoke. And of course you need to cast disco lights. So that's where you get the flickering blue glow along with the smoke. Now, why, you ask? So that it looks like he blows up, right? So here's a snapshot view. Well, you get the idea. So from Vader's vantage point, you no longer see the Emperor, and instead you see like flashing lights, flashing blue lights with smoke. Meanwhile, here's another cross section. Let's see. All right, so think about Empire Strikes Back. Excuse me. You know when Vader was fighting Luke? They were on this platform. There's a railing. There's what is kind of like an antenna. Vader was extending its hand. Luke was backing off, and then let's say Luke was over here saying, Vader's like, "No, Luke, I am your father." And of course, Luke's like, "No." And then, rather than join Vader by his side, Luke opts instead to drop. Oops, actually, hold on. By then, Luke has no hand. Whee! All right. Page 1. All right, so we continue. Let's watch. All right, so Empire Strikes Back. He goes down. Luke. Here's the giant shaft. Let's say this is the antenna-looking thing that Vader is at. Luke was here. Luke drops down. And then I forget what side it's on. Excuse me. Shaft. Dun, 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 dun. Defender of the universe. Dun, 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 dun. Shaft. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so anyway. As he's falling, there's some kind of port that Luke suddenly gets sucked up into. That port ultimately leads somewhere else. It's like, I guess it's designed to be like a trash chute. But anyway, it ends up being let's see, I guess we'll just say exit. Alright, so Luke gets sucked down through this port and ends up on like some antenna there begging for Leia to help. I think it's his left arm holding onto it. His legs hanging off there. And then Millennium Falcon comes over. Round radar dish. Alright, and of course they open the hatch and Luke escapes. So, by the same idea, Palpatine had his shaft. So again, there was a light switch that Palpatine used. Use the Force to flip the switch, triggered the disco ball effect. That shot off excess steam. To make it look like he went to his doom. Continues way, 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 way down. And then instead of Bespin, the floating city of Bespin, we're dealing with the Death Star. Ah! Horrible. Remember, it's still under construction. Da 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 da. Alright, so he goes down a chute similar. Let's see. He was showing the scene of the battle to Luke when he was trying to turn him to the dark side. Well, I don't know exactly where his command center was, or his office. I'm guessing it was near the, well, would it be though? Would you want your office to be right next to the dish, next to all that power and radiation? Well, whatever the case. Anyway, what I'm getting at is there's like a, let's say office is right here. There's the actually the office is in this section. The shaft begins here. And then zoom in on this part. To find that there's a port that the Emperor came out of. There's a vent. Emperor Palpatine slumped over on the back of the thing. He's holding on. See what I mean? So just to show it right side up. So here's Bespin and Luke coming out the little port after his battle with Vader. The Millennium Falcon picks him up. On the Death Star, Palpatine comes down this shaft. It sucks him up through a vent, similar to how it worked in Bespin. And ultimately, here's a zoom-in picture of what we're looking at. Emperor Palpatine's hanging for his life at the bottom. And then effectively some random nearby TIE fighter swings in and picks up the Emperor, and then that's how he survives. Dump dump, ba-dum ba-dum dump dump. This is page 2. Ba-dum ba-dum bum bum bum, ba-dum bum 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 bum. Dump dump. Du-du-du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du. And as a summary, do it right side up so you can see it. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. How did Emperor Palpatine survive in the stupidity that is Disney's Star Wars trilogy? On the in progress constructed, well, on the Death Star, the second Death Star that's still being constructed, Vader throws Emperor Palpatine down the shaft. As he's falling down the shaft, Emperor Palpatine cleverly masks or fakes his death by activating a light switch. It turns on flickering blue light and shoots off some. The flickering comes from the disco balls on the side. It also shoots off smoke, fake smoke. And then this is like a flashback to Empire Strikes Back, where on Bespin, Vader confronts Luke, or Luke confronts Vader. Vader reveals that he is Luke's father. Luke, refusing to believe it, jumps off of this thingamajigger that looks like an antenna. He proceeds, this is a side view distance shot, he proceeds to fall down the shaft. He eventually gets sucked into this side tube on the side of the shaft, which I believe is intended to be the way to remove waste. on Besman, so you don't have a landfill. Instead, it goes wherever it. I'm not sure where it ends up actually after it leaves Besman. Anyway, so he ends up at this exhaust port or what have you at the bottom of Besman. So here's an example of where he's coming out. And then there's another antenna, an upside down antenna that Luke clings to before he's rescued by the Millennium Falcon. And similarly, in parallel, the Emperor falls down. Here's his smoke and light show. He does an effective scream, to make it sound like he died. Of course he didn't. And that's why Disney trilogy effectively retconned the entire first 6 movies and rendered Anakin and Luke's sacrifices as a moot point. And then zoom out to see the Death Star. Here's the main office where the Emperor's throne room is. Here's the part where the shaft is, where Vader tossed the Emperor. Here's the tunnel system that resulted in Emperor Palpatine ending up on the bottom of the Death Star on a weather vane or whatever, or antenna. And then a lowly TIE fighter swooped in underneath and then picked him up. And that's how Emperor Palpatine survived. Using Disney trilogy logic and stupidity. And that has been the story for today. Thank you for joining WyzGyz Entertainment. This has been your host, Wyman. Please like, comment, subscribe. And when you subscribe, mark the bell notification so that you get notified on every update. Thanks so very much and have a great day. See you soon.